Bigger go fishing. South Shore, walleye and perch. I caught a 13.5-inch perch that weighed 2 pounds.
No way.
And then I caught 8, 3 one day, 4 the next. Walleye. Fishing worms on the bottom.
Oh,
The
yeah.
biggest one was 17 inches. We ate fish last night. No one.
Oh, did you?
That's why I'm being bad.
That's
They
good.
smoked fish with rice and bacon yesterday. Bring all the sugar today.
I always hate that because I'm surprised you're getting that good if I make it.
It's really clearing up. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's faster than I thought.
Yeah, you and me both.
You caught all these fish at the reservoir?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
So what I saw is all that cloudiness. I saw water rights going away because all that silt.
Yeah.
I know.
I know. When I was on the council there before, they had a deal where they were gonna come in and clean some of that up, that silt up to the bottom. Did they ever do anything about that?
They haven't.
I think you're right, they ought to subtract it at the beginning.
Right.
From
From everybody, not
Yeah.
at the
Why
end
should we take?
when we have our pool and Parks has their pool, everybody else's.
At that point, the Nature Conservancy's already used all their pull because they should be paying too, because they maintain and keep back some of their water rights through the whole year. Nature Conservancy, because they talked about after doing the study on the fish and how well they're doing and changing this to a Blue River byway or whatever with great fishing, that they would allocate a little more of their water in the reservoir for continuous flow. When I talked to them, no, it was the Nature Conservancy as part of that. Because of the fish, they're the ones that come down and shock the Nature Conservancy. It was with Howard.
Okay, let's, where's Aaron Moses?
Oh, good job, Aaron.
We had some trout on it.
Yeah.
They weren't very good.
Yeah. They just
I expect to
20 or 40
reply on the
pounds
last
of
text.
stalkers.
What's that?
I expect to reply on the
I
last text.
did. I replied.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By golly.
The roads at Monument are a little, that guy needs to get on them a little bit. They're pretty bumpy. Yeah, they really are.
Are they any better?
Well, I think he made an effort, but with all that rain and everything, man, you gotta keep up with them because they really got,
Somebody said the entrance is real fast.
yeah. It is.
Really?
I don't know, I didn't see any equipment, he may have it there somewhere stashed in the back. but-
Them roads have always been tough.
Oh, yeah, they're tough to
They
maintain,
need a
but
complete redo somehow.
Their food is just as amazing as when we were
Yeah.
up there
Pontoons,
early
asphalt.
and them pontoons
That's
and
what I
everything
believe.
is
it would be
gone.
nice to do asphalt from the gate down to the boathouse. I mean, at least that area there,
It is
would be
amazing. We were
nice.
up there not very long ago.
That would be good.
yeah, it really would.
And the food was
Be
good.
something
Oh,
to
food
probably
up
work
there
on.
is freaking over the top amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's start with.
Let's go and get started here, people. You know, the next item on here is our 2022 council priorities and CIP, FIP5. So what I've been hearing today is pretty much, you know, with the strategic plans that are in place that we've heard today. I really believe that, I think that's the way we need to go. I think that they put together, I think the directors have put together some good plans, and for us to add anything into it at this point in time, we'll just add fire to fuel it, and I don't know if we would change anything. I think they've done a good job. Mr. Valentine, you and Steph, whoever put it all together, I think you guys have done a good job, but I think that we just leave it at that. What do you think?
I agree with
Any other thoughts here?
I mean, the only capital improvement projects, and that we've already discussed, they were on these lists, that widening of stuff that pertains to our tourism and outdoor recreation, the widening of Santa Fe Trail and them projects that will need to be pushed on our first CIP projects for sure.
So, just for council's edification, the 5-year plan is something that we have to come up with
and budget, 4 years out every year. So we're starting the budget process. As a matter of fact, Cheryl has already passed out spreadsheets to staff. By our charter, we have to have the departments have to have an initial preliminary budget to me by August 1st. So, yeah, it seems like we just started the year and now we're already talking budgets for next year. So as part of it, in your packet, on the last page, so I threw in there just for a reminder, and Erin's not here, but she did the questionnaire, kind of went around to the public. That's in there for council's review and look at again. It was a comprehensive document, but at the end of that is our capital projects funds, and we have to budget that out. And we have ADA access, Monument Lake, parks and playgrounds, storm sewer rebuild, street resurfacing, Riverwalk improvements, and contingency. And that kind of gives us kind of a general overview. I don't know if we'll change that, Cheryl. I don't know. This 2.4, is that close for revenues every year?
It's increased a little bit. I didn't get that number. I can't remember what we entered 20 with. So I base it on what the previous fiscal year closed out at, and I just add a little, it increased to it every year. But yeah, so we closed out, we closed out 2019 collecting 2.1, and I think we were projected to bring in about probably 2.4 to 2.5 in closing 2020. I don't have that number yet. But anyway, like I said, it recognized a little bit of an increase every year.
I guess the things that I'm just looking at here, the two items here that maybe would be of some interest to council, is like the storm sewer rebuild, where, which part of town?
All parts?
All parts.
Yeah, it's,
But yeah, if there's any specific areas, and the same thing with street resurfacing. What streets are you looking for? The Riverwalk improvements, we've had that discussion today, so we have an idea of what's going to be done there.
and I also included in there your resolution for when we committed funds, because of, in there, we committed $1 million toward Riverwalk, 809,000 toward exit 14 in Colorado commercial 5 points, 2.6 toward Main Street, 1.25 toward the covered swimming pool, and then the others that we've had this economic development land acquisition amount there. I believe we got that when we sold industrial park. It's been sitting there, so now it's committed. Uncompensated absences, and then of course Eagle Rock. But it kind of all melts together in. So I just put that in for council to be thinking. Here we are, budget time, and priorities, and I know I got a good sense of the priorities already. So.
Didn't you say, Mike, that on the West Main Street, that because of the 2 new staff people that we have in Public Works, that's going to go down?
That should go down. That 2.6 included engineering and everything in it.
But we split that to Santa Fe Trail and Main Street.
Right, exactly. So if we were to get the grant for Santa Fe Trail, we have to match it.
Right.
So, we'd have to revise the resolution.
Right.
Juggle, but that's where it sits now.
On that fleet, what department would we replace fleet?
Public Works, Parks, what's that?
PD.
Fire,
Okay,
all the general fund.
Okay. that's specific to
Another thing that we could have brought up this morning is that the Power and Light, they need, some new trucks, and I think that, I'm not sure what can be done there, if anything. I think that's, according to Dean, his newest truck is, I forget what year it was.
But he just got a new one a couple of years ago, but then the next newest one is 2002.
Because he did get a bucket truck, I remember.
And it's on the lease purchase, so we're still paying 3 more
About
years.
50, yeah,
something like
3 more years.
What are the payments on that? Just ballpark?
that. 50,000.
Yeah, around
fleet. Don't
50.
ever tell the accountant, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron.
It could be that maybe if we have some good general or good marijuana, that could be done.
We'll look at it to see.
Actually, it's 2 more years to go. We already made a payment this year.
Okay.
So 23 will be finished, and it's about a $47,000 payment.
And that money comes out of general fund?
No.
It comes
Out
out of there.
Out of the enterprise.
Yeah, that was a discussion this morning, we could use money from the marijuana fund, use some of this stuff. There was a question on that, so I guess we'll discuss it. Like I said, on the committed funds, is everybody okay with what we have in that resolution? It's $8,400,000. Any question on it? That uncompensated absences, that pretty much catches us up.
Yes, for the general fund. The utilities are a little bit short, but every year that liability grows, so.
Plus, and we've also had some of the older employees retiring too, so it's
That helps when they retire.
being brought, that money being brought down. Okay.
So after today, I'm gonna retire and I'll
Oh, no.
No. Don't accept
Put a hold on that street in front of his house for a while longer.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Well, let's go ahead and have some closing remarks and start off with, unless there's something else,
No, Mayor, it's been a good day.
start off with Ms. Grego here.
I'll tell you, I'm towards the end of my first term, and what the city has educated me with is far more than what I've given back to the city. But I still want to remunerate staff on these new business. And this is not about ass kissing, but I am up for reelection. I'm just kidding. But I mean, I sat there and I'm trying, my first thought this morning was, how did one man take care of the 3 utilities by themselves? When obviously the 3 people that are in charge of each respective department have their hands full. I mean, that is one of the best decisions that's been made in the past year. I think staff is easily the best asset this country. On that, I'm frustrated with what downtown Trinidad looks like. I told you, make a commercial street is, you gotta have a better plan. That's, I just can't imagine. I mean, I see literally hundreds of people walking up and down commercial. every day I get groups of 5 or big families. It's not enrichment, it's maintenance. There's weeds.
Weeds, just general curb painting. Talk to me tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
See what happens tomorrow morning.
I mean, it's like, that's one of our main priorities, I think, is to make downtown more beautiful. Because if we don't have a good downtown, people aren't going to come. And welcome, Scott.
Welcome, Scott. Yeah, welcome, Scott.
I'm not in my first year, but still at the learning stage of all of this. I would say I'm leaving today encouraged because everything that we've identified as problems, I'm seeing somebody who's on it, somebody who's aware of it, and someone who's working on it. And I think, Mike, you're doing a great job. And I'm really glad we signed you that 10-year deal. No, that was a good idea. But I do think that I'm glad that the gentleman from Power and Light brought some things to our attention today that I was not aware of. And I think we need to, I'd like to hear more from you about how that's all resolving. But other than that, I'm very encouraged. It's a very exciting time to be living here. And as Rusty said, it is a privilege to serve the people of this community. And I'm just happy I'm getting a chance to.
I lived here 30 years now. I'm not from here, but I knew the first day I come here that this was where I wanted to stay. And I've spent a lot of years in public service through Santa Claus and different stuff. And it is, I do consider it a privilege to serve on this city council. And what a great time it is to serve with the opportunity afforded to us to do so much good for this community. And I think this is a very productive meeting and I've enjoyed it very much. And I didn't think I would. I'm just gonna be honest. So I got way more out of this and it turned out really good.
I'm still agreeing, but I do more listening now than I do verbalization. But the department heads gave a great overview of what needs to be addressed and what we need to do as a council to help address those needs. Mission statement, I agree with pretty much Mike and Karen. You know, what should stay in place and maybe what needs to be tweaked a little bit. The priority list, designated, collated, 1, 2, 3, fire mitigation, substation, water treatment, landfill, the definite number ones, but the number 2s in time will be number 1s. They all have to be addressed. The greatest of importance and the least greatest of importance, I guess you could say.
Frank?
You good?
I'm done. I gotta go. I gotta go produce some
We've been
ads.
talking a long time, you have to leave at 4. It's on the radio. I know, gee.
I gotta go do the news.
Practice. No, I think it was pretty good. I like I say, I've been on these retreats before. I think the biggest thing is that we all understand the problems. We've all had stuff done here. We've all had good ideas. We want a lot of things done. And I think the biggest thing is we need to carry it out. We need to go out and get some of this done and work on it really hard and just not talk about it. And I think it was a pretty good meeting and I hope we can get all this straightened out and go forward from here. And thank the staff and thank the council people and everybody for coming. It was
Thanks for lunch. Thanks for
spent a lot of time. It was tough. So I think we're gonna do a pretty good job in the next coming years.
I want to thank everyone for being here. There was a lot of effort, especially on staff's part. Thank you. As Councilwoman Ogletree said, I'm also pretty new still, fairly new. So doing a lot of learning. I think the huge majority of today was super beneficial. I agree with Councilman Shu. the follow-up is what will matter. But it's exciting to see that we can leave a better Trinidad for tomorrow than we found yesterday. So I think that's all of our goal. But thank you to everybody. I appreciate it today.
Cheryl, I know you weren't here this morning, but you see a lot what's going on. What overview of what you've heard so far this evening?
Well, I talked to Mike a little bit about it. I'm busy, and I'm worried that I'm gonna get overwhelmed with this tranches of money. So for the future, I'm trying to plan if I'm gonna need staff or it's busy. It's a good kind of busy. I mean, we can't ever complain about all the money we're collecting. That's fantastic, but it gets overwhelming at times. As far as budgeting goes, I don't see too many issues with any departments with further requests. We'll keep the budgets flat. If they want more than what they received last year, they'll have to have a good justification. But other than that, that's where we're headed is budget season.
Can you give us the legal parts of this?
Well,
Thank you, Eli.
Thank you.
thank you, Councilman. Karen had a point the other night in a meeting, and she said, you were talking about a CIRSA or an insurance kind of meeting you had, and I just think from a legal standpoint, we're doing pretty well. And I just want to say that. And it's not because of me, it's just that we're doing pretty well. And it's, what?
I'm saying you don't mean.
It's not because of me. But really, we have, a lot of the problems we have are good problems. I mean, good problems for a municipality to have. And it's nice to be able to talk about things where, we have a lot of money to apply to, various problems. But from where I sit, I think things are pretty good. And I'm glad. Every year when I do my litigation letter to the auditor, Cheryl's good friend, it kind of gets better and better. But that was back to the legal thing. So anyway, but it was a good gathering today. I too was a little jaded coming in, but it was a good meeting. Well done.
Sky, you're the new guy on the totem pole in the house. What do you think?
Well, I want to thank everyone here for giving me such a warm welcome. I feel, very, very lucky to be here and very stepping up in the city. And I think over the next month or so, I'm going to really focus on getting to know the community and hearing from you guys and your constituents, and really trying to just learn and listen about what's important and try to work with that and give you guys plans and help bring some of the planning work you've been doing in the past with consultants and try to do that more and more in-house. And I'm hopeful that I can be an asset for the community.
Nice.
Well, I just want to thank council. I've said this before to you. I come from the engineering background, straight lines, nuts and bolts. This whole retreat visioning thing is not in my wheelhouse, and I think it went well. Got a lot of input. I appreciate that. And moving forward, staff, I think we have some direction. So.
I think today was productive. A lot of times, I've been to a lot of retreats, and a lot of times you get hung up on, for instance, the mission statement, and you miss the boat on talking about things that are more important. And as a community, you see things like that. Whatever negativity is going on, that's the buzz, and we waste a lot of time talking about that buzz when there's 150 other things out there that are so much more important than whatever that one little thing is. And so we didn't do that at all today. And so that's always refreshing to me. I don't like to see things belabored. Aside from that, I think it's a good city council. I think everybody's very engaged, and I'm always very impressed with people's memories. In particular, Rusty can remember things, and I'm like, I don't remember that.
Just wouldn't think I was some long haired ass biker. I'll voice more than not lose.
And the well, staff is very busy, and it's sometimes we sound like we're complaining about it. It's where we want to be too. Because the alternative is to be not busy, which means nothing in town is going on, and that's where we don't want to be. I can remember 2 times in my entire time working for the city where I was not, what I would say, super busy, and it was our low points. So it's a good thing to be busy.
That's a scary time when you're not busy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been in private businesses to understand when you're not busy versus when you're busy. First of all, I want to say, Mike, thank you and staff for putting together today. I think you assembled the agenda really well, putting it together. I think Donna, you said Donna did a lot of work on it, and Audra, of course.
All of us, it's always a team effort.
But anyway, as a team effort, thank you guys for doing that. And as far as council goes, thank you guys for being here. Like I said, I know you guys had some reservations when I brought this up, and there's always reservations when you do something. And that's why I think that staff did an excellent job of putting together an agenda and how it would be coordinated. Had some good items to discuss today. I believe that we have a very good council, a very progressive council. I said we don't always agree 100%, but that's not what we were elected to do. We're all different and different opinions, and that's okay. But I believe that overall our day was, I feel, really productive. Issues came up, but at the same time, heard solutions. So if you don't have, we can have, like I said, bring up all the issues and all the problems, but if you don't have a solution to it, then what's the point? So I heard a lot of solutions. We heard from all of our department heads today, but most of them were here. They brought forward their plans and many concerns that they had, and requests for help. And I think that we need to be, as a council, our job is to support our staff and also make sure that now that we have all these strategic plans, that whether we're here a year or now or not from here, that we'll be able to look back and take a look and say, how much of this has been accomplished, how much of this has not been accomplished. In 6 months, we can look back and say, have we made any progress on it? So I think that's what I mentioned earlier. Let's go home, take a look at all of these strategic plans, put them in a binder so that we can follow them, and that we were not scrambling, looking around to find that goes that way. So anyway, let's do that. The biggest thing is, like I said, there's a lot of ideas, thoughts here. Like I heard in the closing statements, action is the biggest thing. That, like I said, looking back 6 months from now, a year from now, are we making any progress with some of these things that we discussed today and many other things that are going to be coming up? We need to remember that regardless of what we have in front of us, we're going to have ideas come up like weeds sometimes. A weed pops up, we cut it, and another weed pops up. And that's what's going to happen throughout the year. Other little things are going to, and maybe big things may pop up. We've been fortunate in the last several years to get us to the point, to your point, Audra, saying rather be busy than not busy. And I believe that the job that we are trying to do for the city, I think is, I think we're doing a decent job. I think we're looking out for the safety of our city, the progressiveness of our city. We have an idea of where the city's going. And we know where the city needs to be going, not only for today or tomorrow, but way down the future, like I mentioned earlier. The decisions that we may be making with some of these, are future councils going to be able to follow up on it? Some of them may get thrown out, but will they be able to follow the basis? But I just want to say thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate, I myself appreciate your time here. And go forward, work together. Thank you. Have a good evening.
But thanks, Tom Murphy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mr. Murphy.
You guys helped me a bit by turning this on and off. Appreciate it.
So take a break, I stopped it, and I started a new one, I hope that was right.
Yep.